We're going to continue adding and subtracting rationals. If you look, our problems look a little bit more difficult, but they're still not too bad. If we're looking at our first example, what we notice is that it still has a common denominator, x minus 3. So since it has a common denominator, what we're going to do is we're going to write our common denominator, x minus 3. And after we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the numerator. Those are different terms. We can't subtract them, so we just leave it as x minus 3. Now, if we notice this, both of them are exactly the same. So they cancel, and our answer is 1. Now, looking at letter B, for me, I think this is the most difficult because they're different. X minus 3, 3 minus x. So what you have to do is we have to multiply the top and the bottom by -1. Now, when we multiply the top and the bottom by -1, what we have is we have x minus 3. We have plus -8. We have -3 plus x because we multiply the -1 times the 8, which gives us -8. The -1 by the 3, which gives us -3. The -1 by the -x, which gives us a positive x. Now, if we look closely, what we notice is that our denominators are now the same. So that means that we have a common denominator. I'm just going to write it as x minus 3. We're going to look at our numerators. If we're looking at our numerators, we have an x plus -8. So I'm going to write x minus 8. And that right there is my answer. Now, looking at letter C, what we notice right off the bat is that our denominators are the same. So that means that we have a common denominator, x plus 5. Now, we're going to add the numerators. They're different terms. They're not like terms. So we're leaving it as 2x plus 10. Now, if we're looking at that, what we notice is that both of these terms right here have a 2 in common. So since they both have a 2 in common, we're going to factor out a 2, and that gives us x plus 5. Now, if we look, our denominator is x plus 5. So they cancel, and that gives us an answer of 2. So if we're looking at D, E, and F, what we're noticing is that they're similar to A, B, and C. So we're going to be keeping our eye on A, B, and C, noticing that we have kind of a similar pattern. So looking at letter D, we notice that both of these terms are a common denominator. So we're going to put 7x. That's our denominator. 12 plus 2 is 14. 14 divided by 7 is 2. They cancel. 2, 1. So our answer is 2 over x. Now, looking at letter E, that's going to be similar to what we did in letter B. Notice that we have an x minus 1. This is a 1 minus x. They're not the same. But if we were to multiply the top and the bottom by -1, so we're not actually changing the value, what we end up with is 7x minus 1 plus, this is a -9. This right here is a -1. This is a positive x. And so if we're looking closely, positive x, -1, -1. So we have a common denominator, x minus 1. If we look at our numerators, 7 plus -9 is -2. So our answer is -2 over x minus 1. Now, looking at letter F, we notice common denominator. So that means our common denominator is x minus 9. Now, if we're looking at the numerator, we have 4x minus 36. Now, what we notice is that with the 4 and the 36, they both have a 4 in common. So we factor out a 4. That leaves us an x minus 9. Now, if we're looking at this, x minus 9, They cancel, so our final answer is